Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. We're trying this. So okay, we're having some tech problems. It is now 10:46. I'd like to call the special meeting of the Kensington Police Protection and Park Services Special District to order. Linnell, can you do roll call?
Director Duggan. Director Hassai. Here. Vice President Goff.
Here.
Director Spath. Here. And President Aquino 5.
Here. Now we'll turn to public comment on the special meeting. So individuals wishing to address the Board of Directors concerning special meeting agenda. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that. Individuals wishing to address the Board of Directors concerning special meeting agenda items are invited to make oral comments of up to 3 minutes. For Zoom attendees, please raise your hand via Zoom, and when you're called on by myself, the president, you'll be unmuted and you can address the Board of Directors. Please state your name clearly for the audio recording. You're requested to address your comments to the Board of Directors and not to staff and/or the audience. By state law, the board is not permitted to undertake any action or discussion on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. If you have any documentation that you wish to submit to the board, please mail or email it to the clerk of the board at the contact info posted on our website. Are there any comments by the board at this time? Any comments by the public?
Comments. Oh, there's one that just came up.
Sure. John, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, I just would like to thank Ann Danforth for her years of service as the general counsel to the board, and wish her the best of luck in her retirement. Thank you. That's my comment.
Thank you, John. Any other comments? Seeing none, we will now move to close. No, wait, excuse me. We'll now move to discussion and action. So the first item is approval to accept the Renee Public Law Groups with Ann Danforth as general counsel, her resignation from serving as general counsel for the KPPCSD. Any comments or questions from the board on this item? Director Hassai. Thank you, Director Hassai. Director Duggan.
I also would like to thank Ann for her many years of hard work for Kensington. We really appreciate her services to our little burg, and hope that she has a great life going forward.
Any other comments from the board? John, do you have another comment? Your hand is still up.
Yeah, Sylvia's comments didn't come through. That's all I want to say. The audio was off. Thank you.
John, can you speak? Can you unmute yourself and speak into the mic?
Yeah, Sylvia's comments didn't come through. That's all. You know, I don't know if it affected anybody else. Thank you. That's all.
Where your mic is.
Sure. Here, you want to use my mic?
Sure, I unmuted myself, but I don't know quite what's wrong. But I was just commenting that in addition to thanking Ann Danforth for her years of service to the district, I also wanted to point out to the board and to the GM the role that John Holtzman of Renee Public Group has played in the past in advancing negotiations with the Kensington Police Officers Association, and would like us to consider that relationship as we go forward in the future, because we've just come through a contract negotiation. That is not an immediate item, but something worth noting.
Thank you, Director Sai. John, did that come through?
Yes, loud and clear. Thank you very much.
Great. Director Duggan?
Point of order.
Thank you, Director Duggan. So is there a motion to accept the Renee Public Law Group's resignation as general counsel?
I move to accept the Renee Public Law Groups with Ann Danforth as general counsel, resignation from serving as general counsel for KPPCSD.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to the next item. The next item is the approval to ratify 2 agreements with Best and Krieger to serve both as special counsel for CalPERS pension matter and as general counsel to the KPPCSD. Are there any questions or comments from the board on this item? Director Hosai.
Myself, I'm going to use Director Aquino Fike's computer. I would just like to say that in the past, as part of our policy and procedures manual and general practice for this board has been that contracts are approved by the entire board, especially things over $5,000. So I understand from speaking with President Aquino Fike that she consulted with council, the new council, and they advised it would be okay. But frankly, they should not have been able to consult because they really wouldn't have been on board. So it's really about procedure in this case, that this contract, I would have rather have this come to the board unsigned and with a discussion about the law firm and, you know, more discussion. I didn't think there was not a, I thought, extreme rush. And we certainly could have done it in a special meeting, but I would have preferred to see that the contract was not signed with a discussion. I know everyone's trying to do their best, but I just think sometimes haste makes trouble. So I look forward to learning more about the firm. Frankly, I'd like to hear about their experience. I saw a very short memo from General Manager Aranda about his experience, but I would like to know more and have a discussion about the firm a bit. And again, just encourage us to try to bring things before the whole board whenever possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Hosai. Noted. And any other questions or comments from the board? Director Spath?
He's muted.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. There may be a couple minor errors in the document, and I'm assuming that those just can be corrected, even if we do approve the document right now. For example, in Exhibit A, under the annual adjustments, other mutual adjustments, it speaks to the fact that at the start of the client's fiscal year, July 2018, clearly we're well past 2018. So that's probably just obviously a minor error that needs to be corrected. So thank you.
Director Hasai.
This just raised, it raises the question again that this agreement should be looked over by a separate council, because this council looking over their own agreement is a conflict of interest and not best practice. So I would have preferred that, you know, as Anne had indicated in her resignation, that she was available to assist with the transition, that she could have, as our general counsel, still advising us as a client, have reviewed this and helped us with, you know, any errors, or also just provided guidance to this board about that transition. I suppose that could have been viewed as also potentially conflictual or a conflict, but I'm not really sure now. You know, no one is guiding me as a client other than the people who have an investment interest in this. That there's not, this is fairly standard, but again, with errors, it's a weird way, it's a weird start to the relationship.
I'd like to respond. I respectfully disagree that it's fairly common in the legal field for the client to review the agreement on their own without counsel. So I don't agree with that, but I do hear you loud and clear about the preference of having been able to look at it earlier. I also disagree on the lack of urgency. I think we do have quite a bit of urgency given some of the matters, some of the confidential matters and also public matters facing this board of directors. I did not feel comfortable at all passing any days without legal counsel. I think the plan right now, it needs to be we get counsel in place immediately, new counsel in place immediately, and then our new general counsel, Anne Spirelli, has offered kindly to come in person, meet with each of us, hear our concerns, our questions, but I certainly think that this law firm is more than well qualified to serve us. Any Director Gotten?
Yes, I'd just like to reiterate too and remind everyone that I don't think there's been a single agreement that's come before this board that didn't have minor errors at any stage. So I don't think that is a prima facie case for dismissing it and questioning the whole agreement. I think this is, again, pretty common.
Not my intention.
Yeah, pretty common. Yeah.
Director Duggan.
Having heard that our general manager, David Aranda, had good experiences with this law firm, I do trust David, and that's partly why I feel, you know, as Alex does, that going forward is safe. And my only question was, I noted that we are at a $290 per hour rate for partners. Is that the same rate that Anne was receiving?
Anne's hourly rate is $250, so this is a slight increase, but in my opinion, personal opinion, not significant.
Okay, and this person is planning to attend all our meetings?
It is up to us to decide if we want her to. It's
Yeah.
the client's purview.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, it may not always be necessary to have a counsel at every meeting.
Noted.
When that counsel can be later questioned by our general manager as needed.
Right.
So
Noted.
that might be a way to save some money.
Thank you. Director Spath, did you have a comment?
Mute.
Okay, I think General Manager David Aranda wanted to make a comment. But...
Well, I was just going to do any of the corrections we think should be made, who should we send them to? To David or?
Can you say what they are now, if there are more?
Well, I mean, that was one that I found. I don't know if anyone else has picked anything else up in their reading of the contract, but if they have.
I'll bring it up.
Okay, that's fine. I think that's. Okay.
Director Hazel.
I'd like to just hear from the general manager about his experience with particular about special districts, because I know they are a supporter of, for example, CSDA. They're there every year. So I assume they have a strong special district practice. I would like just to hear more about them from you.
Yeah, they on the side with California special districts. Am I not coming over? Oh, okay. They do a lot of presentation for California special districts. In fact, we're working on them with them right now in regard to the couple of conferences coming up. In addition to that, as I mentioned in my my little report, my experience started with Best and Krieger because they've been general counsel for the Special District Risk Management Authority for a number of years. And what has transpired when I was at Stallion is we ended up contracting with them because Stallion became so involved with specific issues, real estate transactions, Prop 218 issues, voting issues, a number of different types of things that we found that Best and Krieger could best serve the district, because the way they work is you have your general counsel, and when she's approached by the board or direction for me to approach her, if it's about a subject that's specific, she will then send us to the attorney within the Best and Krieger circle, and they have offices all up and down the state of California. So, for example, there's a specialist on Prop 218. I believe he works in the Ontario, California office. So we would work with him. Real estate was at another office. But my experience has been that not only do you get what I consider to be specialists in the field that we're concerned about, but you also do not have the interaction of general counsel also billing for the work that's being done. She just turns it over to that person. The other thing I wanted to highlight to the board is that our experience with general counsel is, as stated, it's the board's discretion. What we did at Stallion is we would prepare our board packet, we would send it to general counsel, make sure everything was in order. If we had specific questions, we tried to cover our bases. In the majority of cases, we did not need general counsel either on the phone or in person because of the preparation in advance of any kind of instructions or some tidbits we might need. I can remember twice in my career at Stallion working with Best and Krieger, we had to table something because she wasn't present. So if you have a specific question about Best and Krieger, I'll be happy to answer it. But I can't say enough good things about the way they bill and the way they handle specific projects, and then also just dealing with general counsel issues that we deal with.
Thank you. That's very helpful. Again, my
Director Goff.
And also, am I correct? We've worked, or the district has previously worked with BBK. Is that right? We have a history with them as well. And
That's correct. We already had a subcontract with them on certain matters. So this is not a entirely new relationship.
Right.
What years were those? Do you know?
I believe.
I can answer. We used, actually, the law firm that Ann's affiliated with used Isabel Sophie for previous employee-related CalPERS issues.
Yep, they had already run conflicts, and so Director Spath.
Where their home office as far as the council that will be representing us? Sacramento?
Yes.
So my presumption is that they could do a lot of, if we want them at a meeting, they could do it remotely by Zoom and so forth.
Correct.
Secondly, I would point out that Best and Krieger have produced a rather extensive document on LAFCO issues and with regard to reorganization and consolidation. In fact, it's probably the Bible for that. So I think that is also important with regard to representation if we are able to go forward with consolidation and reorganization.
Good point.
Thank you, Doctor. That's exactly one of the reasons why I think I recommend this firm. Thank you.
Good to know.
I applaud you.
It would have been nice to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so moving back. And then you'll note there is another side agreement with a partner, Isabel Safi at BBK, to focus specifically on some CalPERS related matters. Do I hear a motion? Any further questions from the board? Any questions or comments from the public? Seeing none, do I hear a motion to approve these two agreements?
I move to approve and ratify the two agreements with Best and Krieger to serve both as special counsel for CalPERS pension and as general counsel.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes 5-0. We'll now adjourn to closed session. Good morning. It's 11:45. And there are no reportable items from the KPPCSD's closed session. The special meeting of today is now closed. It's still 11:45, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
You are welcome. Okay, so we're done.